Hey everybody, welcome back to Treehouse Garden. Dodo Bird and I thought we would show you around, show you some progress, and give you some tips about watering your tomatoes. Hi Dodo Bird. What do you want to show them first? The tomatoes? The delicata? The peppers? What do you think, Dodo? Okay, tomatoes it is. So the tomatoes look really good and healthy. I have a couple yellow branches because I turned my drip system on and left it on overnight. Oops, so I haven't watered for a couple days since then. And I did notice some of the branches got a little yellow, but I still have a lot of green tomatoes, but some are blushing and starting to turn red right now. Oh my gosh, I planted a lot of varieties and look how beautiful those yellow tomatoes look. Amazing. So I'm on a drip system here. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little strip there, drip, and I turn it on manually. And you can see my soil. It's not super moist, but it's definitely not bone dry. So my advice when it comes to watering tomatoes, especially, is to not let the soil dry out completely. Tomatoes don't like a lot of water, but you also don't want them to kind of struggle. You want to keep it very consistent. So with that said, I have a drip. It's very slow to drip, and it's feeding 5 trellises of tomatoes at the same time. Look at those beauties turning red. And so I just put it on usually every day for a little bit of time, and I watch to see the moisture level. So again, you can see that the soil is, it's not totally dried out, but it's not sopping wet. And then I think I've told you guys that I make sure to try to keep most of the branches on my tomatoes off of the ground to avoid getting diseases. And wow, check out these Romas. These are actually Amish paste, and I planted all of these to make spaghetti sauce, which it takes a lot of hardy tomatoes to do those. But everything's looking really great as far as the tomatoes are concerned. Oh, look at this wild boar. Oh, it's so pretty. Beautiful. So some are blushing, getting ready. That crack right there, man, we had a lot of hot heat, and sometimes the cracking is from too much water and the tomato is growing too fast and expanding, but it will still taste delicious. Here is my row of bush beans that I planted. And then along the base again of the trellises, I did pole beans, so you can see they're starting to climb up the trellis. They look amazing. Now beans, they like a lot of fertilizer. So I water these guys every day, and I fertilize them once a week. So I sprinkle the fertilizer down. They do much better if they're consistently fertilized and watered. So if you see that your beans are getting yellow or they're kind of getting limp and brown, you probably need to fertilize and definitely water more. The delicata babies, wow, they're not really babies. These guys are big. I've never had them so big. Again, I'm chalking it up to my fertilizer that I'm again making sure to put down every 2 weeks. I put them at the base of the plant, the granules, and once I notice at the bottom that the granules they're white, the granules have been absorbed by the ground, then I know it's time to reapply. But as a general rule of thumb, I just start row by row. I weed and I fertilize, and I make sure to water every day. Again, the soil is not wet, but it's definitely not dry, and I keep it consistently at that moisture level to ensure everything grows properly. Peppers are also very finicky, and they like a lot of fertilizer. So again, you can see I just fertilized a couple days ago, and all of the granules have not been absorbed yet by the plant, but once I see that they are, I'll know it's time to restart. Well, hello Dodo Bird. We're looking at the peppers now, is that okay? My eggplant, they're really bushy and looking great. Need a little bit of attention, but you can see, and these are the long Japanese kind. You can pick them this young, but I let them get pretty fat. Probably double this because they'll be less bitter. If you pick eggplant too soon, then it's green and can be quite bitter, which I don't like. I already struggle with good recipes for eggplant, so if you have any, let me know for sure. And I should point out that by seed at the end of every row, I have planted marigolds, and marigolds are super easy to sow from a pack of seeds, and I actually buy a great big pack at Peaceful Valley Nursery in Grass Valley, and I think it's like $6, and I've had that pack for about 2 years now. They propagate easily if you want to pick them off and start roots in a glass jar, or just throw the seeds down. The marigolds are really good because they detour pests with their stinky smell. The cucumber squash tunnel is looking amazing. Gosh, it's not quite to the middle yet on this side. Again, I've been using this fertilizer on it, which I really like. And that random squash plant that I put in here, I think I'm right. It looks like it's going to be a spaghetti squash, and I've never grown heavy squash up a trellis like this, but wow, it's doing really great, and I'm not worried about it not having enough support. These vines are really strong, and they're just kind of naturally weaving in and out of the cattle panel. Cucumbers are looking great. My sea of sunflowers, no flowers yet, is growing, and the other side of cucumbers has lots of flowers. I notice there's a lot of bees on them, and that one is almost halfway to the top, so that's exciting. Well, thanks for joining Dodo Bird and myself here at Treehouse Garden today to look at the highlights of the garden. 2 good takeaways: don't forget to fertilize, and fertilize about every 2 weeks. Keep an eye on the granules and note when they disappear into the soil. And probably the most important is make sure you are consistently watering. And remember, you don't want to water when it's hot out. You want to water early in the morning or in the evening when it's cool. You want to avoid getting the water on your plants. And you want to keep your soil at a consistent moisture level. So when it totally dries out or it totally floods, you kind of put your plants in a little bit of a shock trying to figure out, am I going to get more water? Why do I have too much water? So consistency for fertilizing and watering is the key. Thanks for joining me again at Treehouse Garden. Don't forget to seed the day.